What is going on, everyone? It's your guy Cole Jackson back here on Road Graders, powered today by BetUS, and we are going to be getting ready for Steelers week, moving past the Bengals into the Steelers, and the Ravens have a tough schedule ahead going into their bye week. They will see the Steelers, the Chargers, and the Eagles before having that late week 14 bye week. One of the key questions they need to answer is how in the heck do they fix that pass defense? We know what this Ravens offense can do. This is a historic offense based on DVOA, one of the best offenses ever in NFL history based on DVOA. That's being fueled by a Lamar Jackson passing game, which has just gone to new heights, and that's being launched by a Derrick Henry run game. And so, of course, when all of these things start clicking, the defense completely goes to crap. So we're going to be diving into some really interesting things from that Bengals game that I think is a microcosm for the broader season. So we'll take a look at some of the numbers and jump into the film. And to get started, our guy Ryan Mink pointed this out. Joe Burrow versus Ravens zone coverage, 27 to 37, 368 yards, 3 touchdowns. Joe versus Ravens man coverage, 7 of 19 for 60 and 1 touchdown. And so that is staggering. So I reached out to someone at Sports Info Solutions to kind of take a look, and they put the numbers out. So you can kind of see, if you look at the defensive splits this year against zone coverage, the Ravens allowing 0.13 EPA per play allowed, 50% positive EPA, and a 31 EPA total allowed. And then you compare that to man, negative 0.01 with negative 1.01 EPA per play allowed, or total allowed. Sorry. And the first numbers per play. These numbers are absolutely staggering. This tells a huge story. The number of frequency is a lot different when you look at it. So they've played a lot more zone. So that will obviously contribute to some sample bias. But nonetheless, this game, very clear. The Ravens struggled in zone, much better in man. And I think that's the solution moving forward, is to be a little bit more aggressive, use a little bit more 5-6 man pressures, mixing up some blitzes, trying to, help that pass rush, and playing man coverage in behind it with, cover 1, cover 2 man. And, at least in that case, you're dictating how the game is going to be played. Because when you sit back in zone the way the Ravens have been, they just get picked apart and they're just being passive, and the offense is dictating the way it goes. So at least you're trying to take things into your own hands. It kind of reminds me, I don't think they'll be as aggressive as Wink Martindale, but at least in Wink Martindale's scheme, he lived and died by the blitz and playing man behind it. So, I don't want to quite see that type of approach, but we'll kind of jump into the film here to show you what I mean. And what I want to start with is some of their zone coverage, just to see how bad it was. Because there's kind of two pieces. There's how they play in the middle of the field, specifically over top of the linebackers, underneath the safeties, that kind of 7 to 12 yard range, which would be the intermediate throws, which is where Joe Burrow just killed them. And then there's the under 7 yards. I would call them checkdowns. They're not quite checkdowns, but basically those 3-4 yard passes with the zone coverage so soft that they can turn around, get 3-4 yards yak, and then they're picking up 7 yards and just nickel and diming you. So we're gonna take a look at both. So let's start with the zone coverage. Let's jump into the film and take a look. So we're gonna see how the Bengals did this. And so again, the area of the field we're focusing is, in this case, on the other side of the 50, between the 50 and the Ravens 45-yard line here, that's kind of that intermediate zone. And so you're going to see right off the snap here, Jamar Chase is going to get in behind exactly where I'm talking about. And then when Joe Burrow goes to scramble, because that was one thing about this game, the pass rush actually quite effective. And so you're going to see the pass rush is going to force Joe Burrow to step up. And then right at the Ravens 40-yard line, you got Jamar Chase in behind the linebackers in front of the safeties. And so if I were to draw a line down the 45-yard line, you have 5 Ravens defenders, and then you have 2 deep safeties at the Ravens 30. This is just your straight up cover 2. You've got your 5-man across in the second level, and then your 2 deep in the third level. Basic cover 2. Dean Pease's bread and butter. I'm telling you, this is Dean Pease's defense. And so as Joe Burrow steps up, Jamar Chase just nestles in that zone, and then here comes the pass right into Jamar Chase's hands. The safety's not able to drive on the ball quick enough. That is the area that has been absolutely killing this team. Dak Prescott abused it. Joe Burrow's abused it. Patrick Mahomes abused it. It's just that middle of the field defense. So we keep moving along here. And once again, middle of the field, right at the 10-yard line, Jermaine Burton is going to grab that. So again, let's freeze right as the break happens. And you can see that middle of the field soft. And it's interesting here because you can tell they're in that. I'm dragging the cursor everywhere here. You can see right there, they're 5 across at this point, and Trent Simpson, the linebacker, right around the upper 20-yard line is going to get pulled by that tight end. And as soon as he gets pulled, right where Jermaine Burton's opening right at the 10-yard line is where the ball is going to go. And there's the catch. So they struggle to adjust to the routes attacking the zone coverage. It happens over and over again. Keep rolling here. It's going to be the same thing. Once again, Jamar Chase cutting right over top of Trent Simpson's head. They get down into the red zone, and you're going to see. So once again, look at the line of scrimmage right now. Joe Burrow in the pocket. The pass rush does its job. Matabike forces Joe Burrow to scramble, and then you get this line between Arthur Millette, who is the top player, and Trent Simpson, who's the bottom player, where Tanner Hudson is here. And Joe Burrow on the scramble is just going to throw right in the middle of the zone. So as these scrambles come, even with the pass rush being effective in this game, guys just nestle into those soft zones. The Ravens linebackers seem to have terrible awareness and can't pick them up. And then it goes just in behind them, in behind their heads. And, they nestle into those zones over and over again throughout this game. Once again, there's the pass rush. You can see it right there, making Joe Burrow step up. As Joe Burrow steps up, right over top of the linebackers' heads. And so good play here to really see what I'm talking about. So again, watch the pass rush, pull Joe Burrow up. As he does, Jamar Chase from the slot alignment is just going to be over top of the dropping defensive lineman in that soft zone over and over and over again, nickel and diming them down the field. We're going to roll out here. Jamar Chase in zone. So Jamar Chase is going to run. Watch where Jamar Chase is. So he's at the bottom of your screen at the 50-yard line here. He's just going to drag across. Roquan Smith is going to have to try and pick him up and just throw that on the run. Zone coverage just absolutely killing them. Guys aren't able to drive on the ball as the ball is being thrown. The pass rush just being severely useless because of the ability to drop up. Now, this play, we get into the touchdowns here because the three touchdowns, the three big plays, came against zone coverage. So you're going to see right here, Jamar Chase, once again, cutting behind the linebackers' heads. There's the ball thrown right in there. The Ravens have 4 defenders. One's on the ground, fair enough. So there's 5 defenders. One fell down, or Darius Washington jumped for the ball. There's 3 deep right now at the 35-yard line, the Baltimore 35. Jamar Chase has this ball at the 50. And he is just going to somehow cut up, and not one of those 4 guys are going to make a play on him. It's like when they're playing in zone, I don't know what happened between last year and this year, but they just get lost. They have no awareness of where guys are. And they play slow. And that's the biggest thing. Everyone's asking what's happened to Roquan Smith. When he's in zone coverage, he looks slower. It looks like, and we know athletically he's not slow, but the processing ability can impact your play speed. So keep moving here. And this is the Jamar Chase 70-yarder. And this one is just, so they're just playing cover 4 here. So what's supposed to happen off the snap is you're going to get both corners who are lined up close to the line of scrimmage, both corners dropping and both safeties dropping. And they're going to form 1/4 of each of the field, dotted across, keeping the ball in front of them. It's pretty simple. Because at the bottom of your screen, Nate Wiggins is one-on-one here. He goes into man coverage. That must be a coverage check that they have. So watch. As the crossing route comes, Nate Wiggins follows. It's because he's the solo against the solo receiver at the bottom of his screen. There's no reason for him to drop into that deep quarter. So he stays in man there. But Marcus Williams, and you can see exactly why Marcus Williams gets pulled up. Jamar Chase is at the top of your screen at the boundary, and then you have a slot receiver. And that slot receiver is going to run an outbreaking route right there. Jamar Chase is running a go route. Pretty simple. This is against quarters again. So the far corner at the top of your screen should be dropping. Marcus Williams should be dropping. Darius Washington should be dropping. 3 guys dropping deep. This ball should not be going over their head. But watch, as Jamar Chase bends in, Marcus Williams is caught flat-footed. And it goes right into the deep quarter, which is where he should be. So the top cornerback is playing with inside leverage, forcing the ball out because he's expecting Marcus Williams to be dropping. The other safety that's in the third quarter, back towards this side of the field, is also supposed to be dropping, but playing it towards Marcus Williams. Marcus Williams doesn't drop into his zone, though. So as that happens, the other 2 guys do their job. Marcus Williams doesn't. We get into the red zone here. This is going to be the play that was supposed to tie up the game until the Bengals went for 2. But you're going to see Nate Wiggins and Darius Washington. They're at the bottom of your screen against Jamar Chase. They're going to be in zone. And so you're just going to be playing red 2. So this is just cover 2 in the red zone. You see Nate Wiggins come off. The safety, Darius Washington, on the Ravens end logo right here is supposed to be cutting to him. And they're just going to throw that in the back corner of the end zone over top of the shorter safety, over top of Nate Wiggins. And again, they're just playing a soft zone. And this is thrown into the one spot in red 2 that's going to be technically open because the safety has to come all the way over and the corner hasn't dropped far enough. So it exposes the corners of the end zone. Obviously, difficult throw, difficult catch, but you're doing it against Joe Burrow and against Jamar Chase. So makes it a little bit easier when you have guys like that are able to do it. So you're able to see there. Middle of the field is super soft, and that is over top of the linebackers' heads. So the question is, if they start playing a little bit deeper, what happens? Well, we unfortunately, and I won't break down these plays too much because a lot of these, I'm going to call them checkdowns. Some of them aren't true checkdowns. A checkdown's usually when we're just going to, toss it to the running back. But what they do is as the Ravens drop into this predominantly cover 2 look, though some of it'll be cover 3, cover 4, the point is that they're dropping that second line of the defense. So the linebackers and the corners are dropping, 7 to 8 yards off the line of scrimmage. And this is what the Bengals answered with. So as the snap comes, they're going to drop and they're just going to throw it to the running back. See right there, he's catching it and he's, being tackled immediately, but he's 7 yards downfield. And this just happened. And they did it with the tight ends too. Right here. See, tight end right there, soft middle of the field. So the problem is, and the biggest issue I had with this is a way for the offense to just nickel and dime you down the field. Again, right there, going for a first down. So even on first and second down, if you're limiting them to, that 4-yard catch in those 2 yards, these are such easy catches. There you see it to the tight end out wide, but it's creating a lot of second and mids. And then that can create third and shorts. So instead of forcing this team into third and long all the time, they nickeled and dimed on early downs through these check down looks. And that just meant another one out there wide. Look how, let's look at this one as a specific example. So let's get to where the ball was thrown. So just before the ball was thrown, right at this point. So Burrow's reached the top of his drop. You have 2 deep safeties here. You have your 5 defenders across. That's cover 2. 2 deep, 5 across. That's how cover 2 is supposed to be set up. They're about, the second line, the 5 across, are about 8 yards off the line of scrimmage right now. And so that means 4 yards is going to be, which is what the tight end picks up here, right there. Actually, he catches that almost at the line of scrimmage. Look how much space is between him and the tacklers. So he turns that upfield. 7 yards there. That is the stuff that just kills them because it gets them into so many third and shorts, and their third down defense hasn't been good. Well, when you're in third and short, especially as you're entering midfield and you get into some of those 4 down range territories, you are just leaving yourself to have to defend the pass and the run versus if you get them into third and long, they're most likely passing. It really dictates what you have to call defensively. It allows the offense to dictate. So there we are. Check down again, make a guy miss. Second down, just set up 3rd and 1. Right here. And again, look how deep the linebackers are. They're almost at the first down line at this point. And so once the running back catches that, turns it upfield, gets yak. Watching this over and over again, it just kills you. Once again, right there. See, just nonstop. Absolutely nonstop. Play action. Go back over to the running back just with a check down. You're up 8, 9 yards there. So that was one thing that I just found infuriating to watch, especially as I'm watching back, because again, I don't like giving up that nickel and dime defense. I want to see a little bit more aggression. So the question is the so what of this? And going back to these numbers, so what do the Ravens need to do? What is the solution? I mean, it's not just one solution, right? We can't just play man coverage nonstop, but there's the numbers for you on the season. There's the numbers from this game specifically. And here's what the film looked like when the Ravens were in those man situations, because my God, did it ever make a difference? And there were specific reasons why. So just to give it a little bit of a preface before we jump into the clips, two main things that I noticed. When Joe Burrow did face that pass rush and had to scramble, there's way less throwing lanes in man coverage because guys were playing decently sticky. So we're forcing Joe Burrow to make more, tight window throws because he can't just pick apart a player that sat into those soft zones. How many times did we see Joe Burrow have to scramble in those clips where he would just find a guy sitting, 4-ish, 5-ish seconds after the snap into a soft zone behind that second line of the defense? So that's number one. Number two, it allows it allows guys to drive on the ball, and we'll see that quite a few times where as the ball's coming in, it's contested catch opportunities and not these easy catches with 3-ish yards separation because they just sat into your zone. So you'll get a lot more PBU opportunities. We saw a lot of that from Marlon Humphrey, from Nate Wiggins, where they drove on the ball. So let's jump into the clips here. The Bengals are going to go into spread here, get the ball out, and they're going to go right across. And you see Marlon. This was early in the game. I believe this was on third down, actually. So I believe, I think it's against Jermaine Burton. So Jermaine Burton, bottom of your screen, is going to just run an in-breaking route. And so, that's that Andre Iosova. So as he runs that, because Marlon's not in zone, he's on him. He is going to drive on the ball. At the point where it's paused right now, Joe Burrow is throwing that ball. There's about 3 yards separation. Watch Marlon Humphrey drive and attack the catch point. And that is the difference. When you're in zone, you're not attacking quite the same. Here we're going to get Marlon Humphrey crossing the formation. I have the play right. No, this was the play that that Harbaugh challenged. So again, with those check down looks we just saw, so you see the tight end, Mike Gesicki, motions across, and he's just going to run a flat route. Kyle Hamilton is going to drive the ball on him and tackle him immediately. So it's only a gain of 2 yards rather than some of those check down looks we saw where there was, 2-3 yards separation. This could potentially be a turn and run right into the end zone. And if I can freeze it on the right spot, right before he gets tackled, see how he kind of peeks into the end zone, because they were catching that ball with plenty of green in front of them. So he's looking to just slip right into that end zone. But because they're in man coverage, Kyle Hamilton in man is able to drive on him. You're going to get a man snap here from Marlon Humphrey. He's against Jamar Chase at the bottom of your screen. He's going to run a crossing route. Marlon in man, able to play that. Look at that contested catch opportunity. Keeps him tighter. Compare that to the last touchdown of the game where they just threw that corner end zone throw against zone. Much different throw, much more physical. The Ravens corners talent showing a little bit more in these reps. Throws in tighter windows, making a big difference. Keep rolling here. Here you're going to get, so again, pass rush, forcing Joe Burrow outside of the pocket. So watch that pass rush come. As it does, they run a stunt. Joe Burrow has to scramble out. There's no windows. There's no guys sitting into soft zones. Look at everybody dotted. You got your deep right at the bottom right of your screen. We got tight coverage. Bottom left of your screen, tight coverage. The guys trying to come over the middle, tight coverage with man coverage, just carrying them. Tries to tip that, Darius Washington, PBU. Keep rolling here. Joe Burrow has to step up. Again, that pass rush. Look at the effect of the pass rush. As he steps up, we're in man coverage. We're carrying drag routes. We're carrying deep routes here at the bottom of your screen. This is where Joe Burrow is going to go with this ball. Trying to get that out. Look at that, PBU. Again, we are contesting balls, driving on the ball much better. The talent of the corners coming out. Get another rep here. And again, the pass rush making a huge difference. Joe Burrow is going to throw this out. And we're just going to be in tight man coverage. No soft looks, no uncontested balls. Pass rush. trying to get home there. There's Nate Wiggins driving on the ball. This is what I'm talking about. This is the good stuff. So watch that pass rush. That pass rush is going to come in. Nate Wiggins is going to be in man against Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase running that deep crosser. Against zone, this is exactly, look at it over top of the linebackers. This is where it would kill them. But the mentality in man coverage is different. As Jamar Chase starts to run this, Nate Wiggins is going to drive on that ball, go through the catch point, stay in phase, and get that PBU. Well, maybe not a PBU. Force that incompletion. Shouldn't be giving out too many PBUs until we could see it a little bit closer. But you guys can see what I'm saying. Those catches that were easy against zone are now difficult against man. That, to me, is the solution for this defense. And another thing here with man coverage, you got Marcus Williams here. Marcus Williams is your deep safety on this one. And they're going to run a fade out of the slot with Jamar Chase. So go back to the snap here. So in the slot at the bottom, that's going to be Jamar Chase. They're going to throw this. You see Marcus Williams jump back. This is cover one man. So he's going to be your deep safety. Joe Burrow's going to throw this out. Look at Marcus Williams come across, attack that football. It's putting Marcus Williams back there just in cover one, deep center field. No zone responsibilities, no one to pull him. Everybody's in man in front of him. Much simpler for guys that are struggling to communicate. There is no communication. You don't have to. You're playing man coverage. I'm playing deep safety. You're just simplifying things for your defense that clearly is struggling to communicate. That's the fundamental thing for me. There's that pass rush coming home. Again, making that contested catch on Jamar Chase. Again, Nate Wiggins again against Jamar Chase, driving on that ball. See Chase come across. He's just trying to run that. Look at that tight coverage. That, to me, is the game changer. That is how the Baltimore Ravens defense can play a little bit different. Again, that pass rush coming home, but once again, your second line of defense isn't soft. They're not getting in behind you. So to me, clear as day. Looks pretty simple. Drop a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think. If you guys enjoyed this breakdown, if you enjoy this new format where it's kind of me on the camera, I'm quite frankly trying to avoid some copyright issues. So I'm hoping this will prevent my videos from being flagged. But let me know a bit with your feedback. If you guys like this format, drop a comment. Let me know. If not, also let me know. You guys know I always try and listen to your feedback. And as always, be good to yourselves, be good to each other. And thank you to BetUS for sponsoring this.